Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast, where we talk about everything dog. Q&As with veterinarian professionals, rescue operators, everyday topics. We cover everything dog on this podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media on both Instagram and Facebook. Thanks again for listening. Now here's that next episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast. This is your host, Brittany, and today we're going to talk about flea and tick prevention. And I know that sounds so simple, so basic, but you would be surprised at how many people do not find importance in flea and tick prevention. So, and I say flea and tick together because I think you're going to find most modalities or preventatives are going to be for both fleas and ticks. Now, fleas and ticks certainly both live in a wide variety of climates and in areas, and especially in the summer months, we see it all over the United States, other countries as well. And so while flea and tick prevention is very important year round, especially in some of the warmer climates, more humid climates, especially in the summer, that is going to be a key differentiator here, that it is so important that you get this lockdown before summertime. So let's talk about a few things here. So first off, fleas. So fleas can jump. They can jump very easily onto your dog. So even if you're saying, well, my dog just goes out to potty, comes back in, fleas can jump pretty high, pretty quickly, and they can kind of jump onto your dog. So if your dog's walking through the grass, there's the opportunity. In addition to that causing an infestation or an issue with your dog, it can very quickly lead to a home infestation. So especially if you have rugs or carpets, quite frankly, any kind of material, those fleas can rapidly reproduce and you have an infestation problem at your home. So fleas are something to be concerned about, and then ticks as well. So a lot of people think about ticks only being in the woods or in high grass, but unfortunately they're everywhere. So maybe not as, common as fleas, but ticks are certainly a big concern as well. Now, they don't really jump, but they'll kind of grab onto your dog and do what's called questing and kind of make their way onto your dog. And ticks certainly like to hide in the more hidden dark areas. So in the ears, in the pads of the feet, under the tail, maybe in the armpits. Those are some of the areas where you might find a tick on your dog. So what kind of issues can fleas and ticks cause? So of course, discomfort. So skin irritation from the different bites. Your dog could have an allergic reaction. That's actually pretty common to, if fleas are biting. So a lot of different skin irritations. And then perhaps more severe would be different diseases and different illnesses. So Lyme disease, different types of tapeworm. There's quite a few things that could be transmitted through fleas and ticks. So let's say you think your dog might have fleas or you want to check for fleas. You can get one of those little combs. It's just a little comb with the bristles are very close together, and kind of comb through, see if you find any live fleas, or if you find any of the flea dirt, which is flea feces. It kind of looks like sand. So if you see sand in your dog's coat, they might have a flea problem. And then, like I said, for ticks, kind of hiding in those common areas, but just kind of feeling around on your dog when they come in from outside, or if you don't do it every day, maybe like a once a week, just check all over just to make sure that there are no ticks kind of latched on. And ticks can be pretty small. So some ticks can be as small as a pinhead. So they can attach anywhere and kind of grow. So it might take a little bit of while if your dog does get a really small tick before you really find it. Now, luckily, prevention is easy and prevention is cheaper than treatment. And that is the case with most things. It's the case with heartworms. It's the case with so many different illnesses and diseases. We won't talk about those, but prevention, prevention, prevention. You have over-the-counter options, and then you have prescription options. So while there are some decent over-the-counter options, I would say be very cautious. We have seen in recent years a number of these over-the-counter products causing illnesses and deaths in some dogs. So depending on the company that makes it or what they use, there were companies using things like pesticides. I believe there was one company that was found to have traces of formaldehyde in their flea and tick preventatives. So with that, just be very careful. Maybe try to do a little bit of research, whether you jump on a Google search, you look at Reddit, you make a Facebook post, kind of get some information. What I would highly suggest is asking your vet. So seeing what your vet can do with respect to prescriptions, and the prescriptions can vary. So there's certain preventatives that might be weekly, monthly. I do think there are some now that are quarterly, and they can come in like a pill form or more of like an edible treat. So we've definitely come a long way with the options that are available with respect to how you're giving the preventative, as well as some of the price points. And so that's why that conversation is so important to have with your vet. So again, prevention is cheaper than treatment. So thank you guys for joining us today on the Canine Culture Podcast. As always, please make sure you follow and subscribe and share with a friend who maybe they have a dog, they want a dog, or they just love dogs. So thanks again, everyone. Talk to you next week. Thank you for tuning in to the Canine Culture Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media. If you have any recommendations, any topics that you'd like to hear, if you know of any guests that would be good for the show, or if you yourself want to be a guest, please reach out to us. Send us an email at canineculturepodcast@gmail.com, or send us a direct message on social media. Thank you for listening, and please share this with any of your dog-loving friends.